I will call this meeting to order. This is the Monday, January 5th, 2026 Board of Supervisors reorganization meeting. Would everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I will take the roll. Supervisor Charles.
Present.
Supervisor Darby.
Here.
Supervisor McFarland. Here. Supervisor Knights. Here. Supervisor Newfagleis.
Here.
Everybody is here. I will now start the meeting by taking nominations for election of Board of Supervisors Chair for 2026. Are there any nominations for Chair?
I would like to, nope. I would like to nominate Supervisor Charles.
We have a nomination for Supervisor Charles. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Are there any additional nominations for Chair? Hearing none, nominations are closed. Is there any public comment before I call the vote? There is no public comment. All those in favor of Supervisor Charles as Chair of the Board of Supervisors for 2026 signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? My work here is done.
Hey,
Congratulations.
congratulations.
Charles.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so excited for the year. So thank you for Dr. Darby for amazing leadership. And I learned so much watching and sitting next to her this year as vice chair. So that was just really helpful. And I appreciate her and the entire board of my colleagues. I absolutely love serving on this board. I never thought I would run for local office, and it's just so rewarding all the time. And then thank you to the public for your trust, and I really look forward to serving in this role. So thank you. Great. And I would like to use this one time because I'm probably never going to use it again. So. All right, on to our next order of business. Nomination and election of vice chair. I would like to nominate Terry Newfagleis as vice chair of the Board of Supervisors for 2026. Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any additional nominations? Is there any public comment? All those in favor of Supervisor Newfagleis as vice chair?
Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations, Supervisor Newfagleis. Vice Chair Newfagleis.
Thank you very much. Also, too, I'm honored to be on this board. And I had an apprenticeship of about a year and a half as an appointed official. Now I'm an elected official, and I'm just very excited about the next 6 years. And I look forward to serving with Chair Charles. That's going to be tough to say, and the rest of the board members. Thank you.
All right, next on to administrative appointments. We will now approve all of the 2026 administrative appointments. There are no changes from last year. I will read off the list of appointments and then call for a motion to approve them in one block. If any supervisor wishes to pull out any of the appointments individually, please state that before the vote. Appointment of Secretary E.J. Mentry, Assistant Secretary Paul Donnelly, Treasurer E.J. Mentry, Assistant Treasurer Paul Donnelly, Open Records Officer Denise Walsh, Alternate Open Records Officer Paul Donnelly, Police Department Open Records Officer Lauren Cook, Zoning Officer Mike Mrzinski, Assistant Zoning Officer Hedy Arturi, Building Code Official Building Inspector Brad Bollinger. I would like to make a motion to approve administrative appointments 3 through 12 as stated. Is there a second? Second. Okay, board comment? Public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. On to consultant appointments. We will now approve the 2026 consultant appointments. There are no changes proposed from last year. The first 5 can be approved in one block vote. Similar to the administrative appointments, I will read off the list of appointments and then call for a motion to approve them all in one vote. If any supervisor wishes to pull any of the appointments out to be voted on individually, please state that before the vote. Appointment of consulting engineer and fixing of compensation, Woodrow and Associates, Inc., Timothy P. Woodrow, P.E., traffic engineer and fixing of compensation, Bowman Consulting Group, Casey A. Moore, P.E., Thomas Committa Associates, Inc., Thomas J. Committa, AICP, actuary for township pension plans, township employees pension plan, and the defined contribution 401A plan and fixing of compensation, municipal finance partners, Charles Friedlander, and the last one is labor attorney and fixing of compensation, Eckert, Siemens, Charon, and Mellot LLC, Scott E. Blissman. I'd like to make a motion to approve consultant appointments 13 through 17 as stated. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Board comment? Public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. On to appointment of solicitor and fixing of compensation. We're going to vote on the appointment of the township solicitor separately, and the township manager, E.J. Mentry, can explain why now.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So typically, the solicitor appointment falls under the block vote for the other consultant appointments, but there's been a proposal submitted this year for the board to consider changing the compensation structure of the township solicitor to a retainer structure. And no decision had been made on that matter prior to tonight, so the board needs to decide on that prior, or as part of the appointment, which fee structure you're choosing. So the traditional fee structure under which we've been operating for the past 4 years with Clark, Gallagher, Barbiero, Musso, and Glassman as township solicitor has been a billable hours fee structure for which we have what the fees would be for 2026 under that structure. Alternatively, they've provided a retainer proposal, which would provide for essentially all general municipal legal services for a $2,000 per month retainer that would include attendance at board meetings, executive sessions, communication with the supervisors, excluding litigation, land development, attendance at staff meetings, routine correspondence with township manager and staff, preparation of hearing notices and advertisements, basically everything except for litigation and land development, and right to know. Those matters would still be billed separately. So doing some math and budget analysis under the retainer structure for all of the services that are covered under that structure, looking at the last 3 years of payments for the solicitor for that portion of the work would realize a savings of about $18,000 a year to the township using the retainer structure versus the billable hours structure. With that, however, some of the standalone rates for the separately billed items would be higher. The biggest of which is the land development rate, which is almost entirely billed to external applicants and developers. That rate would be significantly higher under the retainer structure at $275 an hour versus $195 an hour under the standard billable hours fee structure. So that's kind of the big difference in terms of, there's a savings to the township and the taxpayers for what we have to pay out of our general fund, but what gets billed through escrow accounts to developers would be higher. That's kind of the trade-off. So I would ask the board, as part of your decision to reappoint this solicitor, to also decide on which fee structure, whether to stick with the standard option, the billable rates option, or to go with the retainer option.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Clark, Gallagher, Barbiero, Amuso, and Glassman Law with Michael P. Clark as township solicitor and selecting the retainer option. Is there a second? Okay, board comment?
You go first. No. Okay, I'm abstaining from the vote for township solicitor. During my campaign, I received a donation from an individual who is employed by this firm. While the donation was fully compliant with campaign finance laws, I'm abstaining to avoid any perceived or manufactured conflict of interest. It should be noted that the donation did not come from the firm itself and was received so late in the campaign that it was never used on my campaign. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Newfagleis. Normally, we have the township solicitor here who will kind of opine anytime somebody wants to abstain from a vote, and if there's a question about a conflict of interest in their absence, I'll fill that void because this one is pretty easy. Under the state ethics code and through numerous complaints and questions posed before the Pennsylvania Ethics Commission, it is very clear that a campaign, a political contribution that is in compliance with campaign finance laws does not constitute a conflict of interest, so would not be a legal reason for an abstention. So absent a real conflict of interest, any choice to abstain would actually count as a no vote. It does not count as an abstention. So I just want you to be aware of that.
Thank you for your input.
EJ, I would just opine that I think it is, I understand that it will be a no vote. I think it's the right of any supervisor to vote how they want to vote. And so even though it would count for voting as a no, if Supervisor Newfagleis wanted it to be an abstain or a present, in my opinion, that's how it should be recorded.
I appreciate that, but legally, that's not how it works. It counts as a no vote. The minutes can reflect her desire to abstain, but legally it counts as a no vote because there's not a conflict of interest.
A couple of questions of clarification. The $18,000 estimate for savings per year in the last 3 years, were there any abnormal legal activities within those dollars that would then suggest that that same 18,000 would be somewhat different in future years?
I think I understand the question. So there is a category of work that's excluded from the retainer, and over the last few years, there has been some abnormal work that would not be covered under the retainer that we've been paying. We would continue to pay for that same abnormal work as billable hours. It would not be covered in the retainer. So the 18,
It would not factor into the savings calculation?
correct. The savings was already, the savings number that I provided was already excluding that work.
Okay, and the decision to go forward with the retainer is not a term limit, in meaning the board at any moment could decide to change that and go back to the fee-based structure should they wish to do so?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And then I would just clarify too with the township manager, we have authority at any time if we want to step in and find a new solicitor. I mean, this doesn't bind us to him or to the firm.
Correct. With any consultants, appointments, employees, you can make changes at any time. Yes.
Thank you.
Including myself.
Okay, any additional board comment? Any public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Want to clarify if you voted.
Aye.
Okay, on to board, committee, commission appointments. We are now going to move on to vacancy appointments. All of these appointments are conditional on the appointee taking their oath of office, signing the ethics verification form, affirming their commitment to abide by the township's ethics resolution. First, we will approve all 2026 reappointments. We thank these community members for their dedication and continued interest in serving Lower Providence. I will read off the list of appointments and then call for a motion to approve them all in one block vote. If any supervisor wishes to pull appointments out to be voted on individually, please state that before the vote. Again, these are reappointments. All right. We have Environmental Advisory Council reappointment of Aaron McCool to 1 3-year term. Reappointment of Vashali Katkar to 1 3-year term. Human Relations Commission, reappointment of Patricia Fennell Peaks to 1 4-year term. Parks and Recreation Board, reappointment of Michelle Brown to 1 5-year term. Planning Commission, reappointment of Susan LaPenta to 1 4-year term. UCC Board of Appeals, reappointment of M. Stephen Gillen to 1 3-year term. Vacancy Board, reappointment of Erica Cohen to 1 1-year term. Zoning Hearing Board, reappointment of Joseph Pucci to 1 5-year term. I'd like to make a motion to approve board, committee, and commission vacancy reappointments 19 through 25 as stated. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Board comment? Any public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Okay. We will now vote on all new 2026 appointments individually. I or another supervisor will first make a motion with a recommended individual for each appointment. If any supervisor wishes to nominate another candidate, please state the candidate's name when the floor is open for board comment. If there are multiple candidates nominated, the board will vote on them in the order they are presented. I will start off with appointment to the Library Board of Trustees. I would like to make the motion to appoint Jeffrey Briers to 1 3-year term. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Are we taking nominations? I'm sorry.
So there's really no rules on how this works, so you can just
Okay.
handle it as a motion and
Okay,
see that
perfect.
motion through. Yeah.
Perfect.
So I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion to appoint Jeffrey Briers to 1 3-year term. I made the motion. Vice Chair Newfogleis made the second. Is there board comment? Public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, next I would like to make a motion to appoint Alexis Garbin to 1 3-year term. Is there a second? I'll second. Okay, any board comment? Public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next we are on to appointment to Parks and Recreation Board for 1 5-year term.
I would like to make a motion to nominate Jennifer Bogle to 1 5-year term.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Board comment? Public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next we have appointment to Parks and Recreation Board for 1 1-year term.
I would like to make a nomination for Gregory Matthews for the 1 1-year term.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Board comment?
I think it's Georgie.
Georgie?
Yeah, correction of the name Georgie Matthews.
Okay.
All right, we have our motion, our second. Board comment, public comment? All those in favor? All those opposed?
Aye.
Do that again.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I am hard of hearing. We're going to turn the mics up. Okay, in that
Was
case.
there anybody opposed? I just want to make sure.
No, I don't think
No.
so.
Okay,
Okay,
it's
great.
5-0.
All right. Next, we are on to appointment to the Planning Commission with a 1 3-year term.
I would like to nominate Jessica Stearns to the 1-year term.
Okay, so you're making a motion for
Yes.
1 1-year term for Jessica Stearns.
Sorry.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Great. Board comment?
Can I make a different motion, or are we waiting for that one to be voted on?
You can say during board comment that you'd like to nominate somebody else, but then
Okay, I'd like to nominate Jeffrey Turner for the 1-year term.
Is there a second?
you got to call the vote on that. Let me clarify. Supervisor Knights, did you make a motion to appoint, or did you make a nomination?
My intent was to make a motion to appoint Jessica Stearns to the 1-year term,
Okay.
and I believe that was
And
seconded.
Dr. Darby, you seconded that.
I second that motion.
Okay.
Okay, and then we had board comment.
And then under board comment, Supervisor McFarland suggested Jeffrey Turner. Correct?
But that would, modify the motion because we're under a motion.
Correct.
So
So it's really how you want to handle it. Do you want to call the vote, or do you want to ask if Supervisor Knights wants to amend
Let's
his
call the vote, and then we
motion?
can open up to additional motions.
If the, only if the vote fails.
Okay.
If the vote passes, then it's moot.
Okay, let's call it to a vote. All those in favor for Jessica Stearns for one-year term appointment to the Planning Commission?
Aye.
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 All those in favor?
That was,
Aye.
Aye.
now all those opposed.
I'm sorry, all those opposed?
No.
Okay. 4-1, motion carries.
So now we need to do the 3-year term.
Okay. Next, appointment to the Planning Commission for 1 3-year term.
I'd like to nominate Christopher Reynolds,
Okay, is there a second?
or make a motion to appoint Christopher Reynolds.
I'll second whatever happened.
Just call me comic relief.
Okay, we have our motion and our second for Chris Reynolds to be appointed to 1 3-year term to the Planning Commission. Is there board comment? Public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 5-1. Okay, on to appointment to Sewer Authority, 1 5-year term.
I would like to make a motion to nominate Gary Knights for the.
Nominate or appoint.
To appoint, now,
There is a difference, yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Gary Knights to the 1 5-year term on the Sewer Authority.
Okay, I'll second. Is there board comment? Public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Am I allowed to vote on this?
Yes, you can vote for yourself.
You don't,
Vote for yourself.
those positions aren't compensated, correct?
No.
Then yes, you can vote on it.
You can vote for yourself. I think that's a good thing.
I'll vote for myself.
All right, 5-1, motion carries.
I vote.
5-0, 5-0.
Hawaii.
All right, on to appointment to the Zoning Hearing Board by Resolution 2026-01 for 1 alternate 5-year term.
I would like to make a motion to appoint Rusty Raymer to the 1 5-year alternate term on the Zoning Hearing Board.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Great. Board comment, I'll start off just saying, due to a conflict of interest, I will be abstaining from this vote. Is there additional board comment? Public comment?
I feel like I should give the disclaimer,
okay.
since I did before when this was raised. In this case, there is an actual conflict of interest because members of the zoning hearing board are compensated. So there's although it's very minimal, there's a direct pecuniary financial interest involved. So that does constitute a real conflict of interest.
Thank you. Any public comment? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And then I am abstaining. Okay, on to appointment to zoning hearing board by resolution 2026-01 for 1 alternate unexpired 2-year term.
I would like to make a motion to appoint James Regar to the 1 2-year alternate term.
Great. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Board comment? Any public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, on to a motion will be, need to be made to approve the resolution 2026-01 zoning hearing board appointments.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-1 zoning hearing board appointments.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Board comment? Public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And I will abstain from that one as well. Next, we're on to appointment of Board of Supervisors liaisons. The board liaison appointments for 2026 are as follows. The Business Development Committee, Supervisors Nufagleis and McFarland. The Emergency Services Committee, myself, Chair Charles, and Supervisor McFarland. Environmental Advisory Council, Vice Chair Terry Nufagleis. Human Relations Commission, Dr. Janine Darby, Supervisor Janine Darby. Library Board of Trustees, Chair Charles. Parks and Recreation Board, Vice Chair Nufagleis. Pension Committee, Supervisors Gary Knights and Peter McFarland. Planning Commission, Supervisor Gary Knights. Sewer Authority, Supervisor Gary Knights. On to resolutions. We will now vote on a series of resolutions pertaining to reorganization. I will read each item aloud and have Township Manager E.J. Mentry provide further explanation. First, we have resolution number 2026-02, designating depositories for township funds.
Thank you. We have to do this every year at the first meeting of the year, just designating all of the various banks and financial institutions into which the township deposits funds. There are no changes from 2025. Our depositories are TD Bank, Charles Schwab, Fulton Bank, and the Pennsylvania Local Government Investment Trust, also known as Pliget.
Thank you. I would like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2026-02, designating depositories for township funds. Is there a second? Second. Is there board comment? Any public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Now we have resolution number 2026-03, authorizing the appropriate township officials to affix signatures on checks. E.J. Mentry.
Thank you. I'll just say as one general disclaimer with all of these resolutions, the second-class township code requires us to do all of these every year at the reorganization meeting. So they're going to seem very routine. So I'll just kind of say that once. I should have said it before the previous resolution. But this one basically just says who is allowed to sign checks for township, who's allowed to sign township checks for vendors and accounts payable. And this authorized signatories are all 5 of you, the township supervisors, myself as the manager / treasurer, and assistant manager Paul Donnelly, who also serves as the assistant treasurer.
EJ, I have a question for clarification on that. Do the checks require just one signature or 2?
Great question. 2 signatures. All checks require 2 signatures.
Great. I would like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2026-03, authorizing the appropriate township officials to affix signatures on checks. Is there a second? Board comment? Any public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Resolution number 2026-04, establishing the amount of the treasurer's and assistant treasurer's bond at $1 million, which will apply to the township manager, secretary, and assistant township manager, respectively. E.J. Mentry?
Another routine thing you have to do at this meeting, the treasurer and assistant treasurer, myself and Paul Donnelly, have to be bonded under the code. So it's $1 million for each of our bonds.
Thank you. I would like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2026-04, establishing the amount of the treasurer's and the assistant treasurer's bond at $1 million, which will apply to the township manager, secretary, and assistant township manager. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Board comment? Public comment? Yes. Please,
You have to come
great,
up to-
please come to the mic, state your name. Okay,
I just want to
please,
say that my name is Lisa Yannick,
and whether you're township resident, which we know. but
38 Summit Avenue, Eagleville.
Thank you.
And I am one of the township auditors, and I came to attend so that I would hear, but because tomorrow when the auditors have their meeting, we will have to approve that $1 million insurance. So I just wanted to hear it in action. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Great, thank you, auditor. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have resolution number 2026-05, establishing the police officers' contributions to the police pension plan for the year 2026. Township Manager E.J. Mentry.
Thank you. The statutory maximum for police officer pension contributions is 5% of compensation. Anytime it is less than that, it needs to be adopted annually by resolution. The contributions for 2026 will be 4.5%, and that is in accordance with the existing police officers' collective bargaining agreement.
I would like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2026-05, establishing the police officers' contributions to the police pension fund for the year 2026. Is there a second?
Second.
Great, a second from Supervisor McFarland. Board comment?
I have a question on this. Is this an amount that the police officers themselves contribute, or that the township contributes on their behalf?
No, this is the amount that's deducted from their pay automatically, so they contribute.
Thank you.
And then whatever else is needed to fund the pension plan is the township's contribution, our minimum municipal obligation.
So this is saving the township money?
Correct, and as this number goes up, which it has been going up 0.25% each year, that results in more savings to the taxpayers.
Great. Any additional board comment? Any public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. On to resolution number 2026-06, establishing member contributions to the employees' pension fund for the year 2026. Township Manager E.J. Mentry.
Very similar to the previous one, although this pension fund covers a different subset of employees who are primarily covered under the AFSCME collective bargaining agreement, which is the Association for Federal, State, County, and Municipal Employees. Their contribution is set at 1.5%, which has been unchanged for a number of years, but still needs to be approved each year by resolution.
Thank you for that. I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2026-06, establishing member contributions to the employees' pension fund for the year 2026. Is there a second? Any board comment? Any public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have resolution number 2026-07, appointing the certified public accounting firm of Malley, the public accounting firm of Malley, to serve as auditors to audit the accounts of Lower Providence Township for fiscal year 2025. Great. I'd like to make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any board comment? Is there any public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we have one more in this section. It's a lot of reading. All right. Next, on to resolution number 2026-08, approving the 2026 fee schedule. I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution number 2026-08, approving the 2026 fee schedule. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Great. Is there board comment? Is there any public? Okay.
Sorry, I have a question. Within our packets is a listing of all of the fees from 2025, and it has been modified at the front page to show 26. Can I assume from that there are no changes in the fees for the following year?
There are some changes. There is a red line version that was included, as well as a clean version, and I can briefly just walk through what the changes are if you would like. There's not a lot of them for 2020.
Just for the public's benefit, if we could just touch on that.
Sure. So under charges for services, police services, the hourly rate has increased basically just to account for adjustments in police salaries and health benefits. This would be a rate that's charged back to private entities that request police services for events and things like that. They get billed at an hourly rate for their services, so that goes up each year to account for increases in salaries and benefits. Same thing with all of the Public Works Department. Their hourly rate and their equipment rates are adjusted for increases in their salaries and health benefits. And then The end of the fee schedule contains a listing of all third-party consultants, so basically for any escrow work that's done for land development purposes that gets billed back to the developers. This section of the fee schedule includes all of the third-party consultants, the township engineer, the traffic engineer, the zoning hearing board solicitor, and conflict solicitors, the township solicitor, so that this will include now the new fees based on the retainer proposal, and the landscape architect. So basically, the fees, this last section of the fee schedule includes the fees that you already approve with all of those consultant appointments.
I have one question on the police services charges. Are these all within the township?
Not necessarily, no. If there's like a major regional event, I mean, Chief might be able to speak, that this doesn't happen often, but if there's like a major regional event where, police assistance is requested from a number of departments from within the county or the region, then this, the event itself could be outside of the township.
Okay, because I know in the past there's been discussion about like our police officers supporting like Worcester or something, and I just want to make sure that like as a general rule, we're not providing, I want to understand if we are or are not providing police services like that to support their township meetings and the like.
No. So this does not account for any mutual aid when there's, a 911 call outside of our jurisdiction. Mutual aid, we don't bill for that. And nobody does really. We have mutual aid agreements that account for that. This is for like a scheduled event or Chief, I don't know if you want to elaborate.
Yeah, like a perfect example would be the Super Bowl. And we provided officers part of Montgomery County Major Incident Response Team. That would be the fees that we submitted to the city of Philadelphia for support. So it's something like that, yeah. Generally speaking, we don't provide services outside of Lower Providence Township unless it's a major event, and most of the time it's reimbursable.
Not to belabor that, but is the school system a separate category in that regard when you are asked to support? How do we handle that?
You know what? Yes, that totally slipped my mind. We do support the school district at like football games, that type of thing. That's right outside of our jurisdiction. However, we always have the permission of the Pennsylvania State Police to enter their jurisdiction and be there for those events. So we get that in writing. We have that covered. So we do then have jurisdiction just for those short periods of time.
Thank you.
Okay, any additional board comment? Any public comment? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Chief. Finally, we have certification of voting delegate, or next we have certification of voting delegate, alternate voting delegate, and the attendees to the PSAT's annual state convention, April 19th through the 22nd in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Just to clarify, every year the Pennsylvania State Association of Township Supervisors meet for an annual convention. This convention is an opportunity for the second-class township elected officials from across the Commonwealth to meet, learn, and vote on issues that the association will advocate for in Harrisburg during the upcoming year. The board will vote on the voting delegate, alternate voting delegate, and attendees that will represent Lower Providence this year. I would like to make a motion to appoint voting delegate Vice Chair Newfogleis, the alternate voting delegate Paul Donnelly, and attendees as all supervisors, township manager, his designees, and assistant township manager. Is there a second? Great. Is there board comment? Is everyone attending?
We will follow up.
We will follow up. Any public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Approval of 2026 meeting dates and authorization to advertise.
You want me to?
Please.
So I'll just, there's a couple of changes that are proposed, obviously ultimately up to the board's discretion. For the most part, all of the meeting dates, the frequency and the cadence of meetings for the Board of Supervisors and all the committees and commissions remains the same. For the board, we're proposing to move the first April meeting from Thursday, April 2nd to Wednesday, April 1st, due to Passover beginning on April 2nd. This is a practice we've done the last several years. We're also proposing to extend the summer schedule of one meeting a month to include June and May. So over the last several years, for July and August, we've gone down to one meeting a month. We're now proposing to extend that to include May and June.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2026 meeting dates and authorization to advertise as explained by Township Manager E.J. Mentry. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Great. Is there any board comment? Any public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. On to new business, consideration of Cohen Law Group proposal regarding cable franchisee agreement renewal. Township Manager E.J. Mentry will explain.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Every 5 years, and I do apologize, my memo to the board said 10 years. That was a typo. This agreement has to be renewed every 5 years. We have existing cable franchise agreements with both Verizon and Comcast. Our Verizon agreement is up in 2026, so it needs to be renegotiated for renewal. I am proposing to the board and requesting your approval of a proposal from the Cohen Law Group to essentially handle the negotiations and contract renewal on the township's behalf. It is a highly technical and legal process. 5 years ago, the last time it was renewed, Cohen Law Group did it for the township with very good results. They are kind of the main player in the state that does this type of work. It's very niche, these telecommunication laws and franchise agreements. So they have provided essentially like a group proposal for all Montgomery County communities whose agreements are expiring in 2026, where essentially the more municipalities that sign on, the cheaper it is for each of us individually. It does not mean that every municipality that signs on will get the same exact agreement. They'll still negotiate for all of us individually, but probably 85% of these agreements are the same. It might be that last 10 or 15% that might be unique to the municipality. So the rates, depending on how many municipalities sign on, the lump sum cost for the Cohen Law Group to do this work will range between $11,232 to $14,040. And just for reference, our Verizon franchise agreement currently brings in about $200,000 each year in revenue that goes directly into the general fund. So it is a sizable amount of revenue for the township.
And will this process, it sounds like Cohen Law Group will be working on behalf of a number of municipalities, but then we'll get an agreement that will come back before this board that we later vote on.
Correct. You will have to adopt it via ordinance. And they'll prepare the ordinance, they'll handle the advertisement, they'll do all of that for us, provide kind of like a summary of any changes, things like that.
You don't have to, you may not know the answer, and I'm not looking for a comprehensive one, but their proposal mentioned that they have now identified 28 eligible revenue sources, which traditionally, this always applied to the hardwire, Verizon, and Comcast lines that were being buried on township property. Do you have any idea are they talking about streaming services here, or do you know?
I do not know.
No, I didn't expect you to have the answer, but I'm curious to know what they identified as additional revenue sources. I'm sure that Comcast and Verizon are curious to know as well.
And probably hoping that we don't know that.
Great. I'd like to make a motion for the consideration of Cohen Law Group proposal regarding cable franchise agreement renewal. Is there a second?
Second.
Great. Any board comment? Any public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Was that a motion to approve?
Approving.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah.
consideration.
Okay,
yeah,
that's why I
that's
wasn't
right.
sure because.
Yeah, it's on the agenda, so
Yeah.
sorry. It's on the agenda as a consideration because we really don't,
Okay.
but I think the appropriate motion would be to approve.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that.
So you can amend that.
Okay, I will amend my motion and make a new motion to approve the Cohen Law Group proposal regarding cable franchise agreement renewal. Is there a second? Second. Is there any board comment? Any public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, on to approval of pipelining project. Assistant Township Manager Paul Donnelly will explain.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Last year, the township was awarded a LSA grant of $850,000 to address deteriorating storm sewer piping that runs throughout the township, particularly in some of our older developments. And so what our plan to do with this money is to install CIPP, which is cured in place piping. It's essentially epoxy piping that goes in the galvanized pipe that's kind of deteriorated over the years. We will have to be doing this kind of for the foreseeable future in the township due to the quantity of piping that we have that needs to be addressed. But we were very lucky in getting these funds to kind of get a huge jump start on that project. We are now at the point where we're ready to kind of do the first phase of that implementation at $850,000, starting in the Village Green development, including a number of the roads throughout there. So this first kind of tranche of roads would amount to about $625,000. We would be working through a CoStar's vendor named Swerp to do this work. And we are looking for your approval to begin that work sometime in the next couple months.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to approve the pipelining project as explained by Assistant Township Manager Paul Donnelly. Is there a second? Is there any board comment?
Just a question. It sounds like we have enough projects that'll cost us more than $850. So is there a chance to apply for any other type of grants?
Yes. So I think this will be kind of a recurring grant application, but this is a really, I don't think we anticipated to get quite as much as we did this time around. So this was a really good way to jumpstart this effort. So.
Okay, thank you.
And more for the public than anything, this is basically, Joe Chilano and our Public Works had piloted this type of project before, I believe, and it's for our stormwater system.
Correct.
As opposed to like the sewer. And so it's a cheaper way of fixing the pipes, and you don't have to dig up the road.
Exactly. So instead of having to kind of go through a lot of people's yards as well and dig up the actual piping itself, they essentially shoot a long line of epoxy resin into the piping and blow it up and then have it cure in place. That way you don't have to do all that kind of very invasive replacement. It's very impressive to watch. It's kind of cool.
The amount of work to be done here is $623,745, so that leaves you a little over $200,000 that is unused at this point, correct?
Correct.
And unplanned at this point as well.
What we'll do is we'll kind of get through this, and then we'll have another assessment period to see what we can do with that amount of money, and then we'll kind of do that tranche probably sometime in the summer.
And is there a match that the township is investing
I believe
for
there's
this?
a 20% match that is already budgeted for because that's how much we had budgeted for to do annually anyway. So this is essentially giving us the ability to do what we had planned to do plus $850,000.
Okay, and can I ask why, what the criteria was that concentrated on the Village Green townhouse development rather than other larger roads?
So Joe Chilano and the Public Works staff has gone around and looked at the status of different piping throughout the township, and the Village Green development is one of our older developments,
It's not a
and so
townhouse. It's residential, the Village Green.
Am I speaking the wrong one? Is this the one
Yeah,
that's
it's
on
not.
Evansburg Road?
Huh? Village,
Evansburg Road?
you said Village Green, right?
Village Green development. So include Village Green Lane, Long Meadow Road, Lexington Lane, Martha Lane.
Yes, that's near me, so that's,
Sorry, I was thinking about the
the single-family home.
Okay.
That area.
And okay, but thank you for that clarification, but I just wondered why that particular area as opposed to perhaps bigger roads that might have, we've had many stormwater overflow areas. I don't recall this area being one that was discussed heavily, is it?
I'm not sure if it's discussed heavily, but we have a whole kind of catalog of all of the storm sewer pipe throughout the township, and then it's kind of rated based on its current condition in terms of the piping itself, particularly through residential communities. And so because I think the concentration of these allowed us to do a lot at once in one place. But I can also follow up with you and ask why Joe identified this specifically over other places.
Well, it just seemed, rather than, putting it into some larger lengths of major roads, they concentrated in one area. I was just wondering why that was, that's
Yeah.
all.
And just to follow up on that, as I think about it, I know for the sewer authority, there's an engineer that helps with the analysis of this sort of thing. Do we have a consulting engineer that's looking at it as well to do the calculations to, just to back up Joe's, assessment?
I mean, I'm not sure if we have a consulting engineer. I know we work closely with Tim
Tim-
Woodrow,
Tim,
who
yeah.
goes out with Joe to do a lot of these things.
He
and,
does,
and pretty
yeah.
much everything, all of these projects go hand in hand with our township engineer. So to answer your question, yes, it would be Tim Woodrow who goes
Okay.
out.
Yeah, so it's not Public Works doing it on their own. They have a
No.
engineer certified.
Sure, and I think just to build on that is just a matter of Joe and his crew do a good job at keeping tallies of making sure they're tracking, all of the different piping and the status of each one, so that when it's time to do a project like this, they can work with the engineer and say, here's our data, where should we be focusing?
And I believe they worked on like Rogers and Clearfield
Correct.
because there was a sewer project going on. So it was a great opportunity to go ahead and line the pipes at that time.
Exactly, we actually added that on.
And just to piggyback off of Supervisor McFarland, there is a drainage problem in Lower Providence, period. I live very close to this area, and there's a drainage issue.
Great. Any additional board comment? Any public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. On to announcements. The township offices will be closed at 2 p.m. on Wednesday, January 14th for an employee appreciation event. Very, very much earned and deserved by our wonderful employees. Also, the administration office will be closed January 19th in observance of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. On to courtesy of the floor, not to exceed 3 minutes per person. Please step to the podium if you would like to speak. Seeing none. Okay. Is there any board comment before we adjourn?
I would just briefly like to acknowledge what has been publicly acknowledged, the loss of Nancy McFarland, a longtime supervisor in Lower Providence, and I would suggest that perhaps at the next business meeting that the board prepare a statement in her honor to acknowledge her service to the township. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we will have Township Manager E.J. Mentry lead that and keep us involved to make that happen. Okay, next business meetings, January 15th, 2026. Also, February